H. We gonna get it. Is it going? We got it. Yay, y'all, we got it. Yes, it's going. So we are here, y'all.
Y'all,
Thank those negotiations. I knew we was gonna get it because we are getting it. So now that we got it going and we got y'all moving, we have Miss Dominique here. And Miss Dominique, can you tell us what made you start your business?
Well, first of all, thank you, ladies, so much for having me on. I appreciate the time, and even though I have to go soon, it's fine, you guys. We could just go until I have to run out of here. But
Okay.
first of all, my name is Dominique Thomas. So I'm a personal trainer. I'm a wellness coach and also a certified nutrition coach for my business, which is called Well and Fit Coaching. And I help women. I move, encourage, and inspire them to live a naturally healthy life, like not being a slave to the scale, not counting calories, like a naturally healthy lifestyle. What made me want to start my business is I've worked in different sectors of the health and fitness industry. I worked in private gyms, I worked in public gyms. And when it came down to it, it was more of like a number or making a quota. So everyone was more of a number. That no one really cared about the whole woman or the whole man. So the reason why I created Well and Fit Coaching, which I tell everyone, is we are well first and we are fit second. We work on all the other things that are besides just fitness. It's about your mindset, it's about your nutrition, it's how you're feeling, it's how you're sleeping, all those type of things. So I believe that I was never meant to work for anybody. So at some point I was like, I got to take the leap of faith and I got to do it myself. So I created Well and Fit Coaching because that's what I really wanted to do. I didn't want everybody just to be a number.
That's awesome. Now tell us, because I jumped in today and I should have asked this first, but tell me a little bit more about yourself because we want to know who you are and what made you, like, even before you got into that, like, tell us something about you.
Yeah. So I tell people, everyone, first and foremost, I love the Lord. I love Jesus. That's number one. It is not separate of my business. It's very much a part of my business. Second, I'm a mother. So I have three children. I have an 18-year-old named Jordan. She's in college right now. I have a 15-year-old named Malia. She's at practice right now. And then Khalil, who is 10 years old, and he's at jujitsu practice right now. So I'm their mother second. And then lastly, I'm all the things that I am professionally. But a little background about myself. I've actually ran track and field since the age of 4, from 4 all the way through college. So I went to Cal State Fullerton, but I started at 4 running club track and ran all the way through. So I always knew I wanted to do something with movement. And at first I was going to do like physical therapy, but then I was like, that's kind of a lot of like after recovery. I wanted to focus on like prevention and living a healthy life now so we don't have to do it later. So I say I'm on the other side of healthcare.
Awesome.
Yes.
Now, what's one thing you wish that you would have knew before you got started?
I wish I would have known that it wasn't that hard. Like filling out all the paperwork, doing all those things. It's really a matter of like betting on yourself. Once you find out the things that you need to do to establish your business, it honestly is not that hard. And there's so many resources now to help you get started as well too. So I wish I would have bet on myself and really just dove in instead of thinking it was so complicated before.
That's good. Now, what advice would you give someone trying to get into your industry?
Okay, yeah. So health and fitness in general, number one, obviously, it would be best to have the background. I always tell people, make sure that you are certified, because even though I have my degree, being nationally certified protects you against certain things. So you want to make sure that you will have your certifications and all those. So I'm certified as a nationally certified personal trainer, as well as a nationally certified nutrition coach. So you want to cover yourself there, of course. Also, have your policies and procedures and your paperwork in order. Make sure that you have like your health and liability, you have photography and video release, your contracts and your agreements like that. And honestly, I've learned as years have gone by, people don't read anything. So during my consultation, I make sure that I'm reading my policies and procedures to them to make sure that they know that. So that's number 2. And then number 3, know your vision and know your target audience. I knew my vision. I wanted to help the entire woman. So that was number 1 for me. And then know your target audience. So I service women between the ages of, my bread and butter is 35 to about 55. Now I do have someone that's 70. I do have someone that's 29. But Absolutely know your audience and what you want to give to them and what you want to serve them. Go into a mindset of service, not of like what I can get out of it. So those are the three things that I would tell anyone that's trying to get into my industry.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that information. Because the reason I was putting this together is because number one, we are in tax season. So I have been, you know, bombarded with doing a whole bunch of taxes. But what I also see in this season is I see a lot of people who are getting into businesses and they're not structured properly when it's coming time. And I'm seeing more and more of that while I'm processing taxes. And because we're still early in the year, I wanted to do this so people, if they are getting, you know, they need to fix some things. Since we're at the beginning of the second quarter, they might not have had it in the first quarter, but since we're at the beginning of the second quarter, I just wanted people to be able to come on and get what they need so they can have their year, the rest of the year pushed out and get it together and make sure that they're doing the right things. And I also wanted to bring beautiful women on like you because everybody is in different industries. And so what I may be doing, somebody else might not be doing. So if somebody is trying to get into wellness, I wanted them to see someone like you who can say, hey, this is what I did to get me in this industry. This is how I did it. Because so many people, you know, don't like to give information to people when it comes to helping them into business. And I'm not about gatekeeping. I want people to get the information and be able to really progress in knowing something without always having to put $1 to everything that we say. So that was the reason why I wanted you to come on. And I appreciate you so much for giving you your time. Thank you so much. And I know you're about to go to class, so go ahead and
we're going to going to shave you and I do, y'all.
But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, talk to you guys soon.
All right, bye-bye. So that was our lovely lady, Miss Dominique Thomas with the Wellness Coach. And we are now about to transition to our next guest, who is the lovely Coach V from TKK Logistics. And I know when I bring her up, some of y'all going to be like, first off, can you pause what she just said? Because there's so many people in this industry right here. And I know alone off of the people that I do when it comes to bookkeeping and taxes, there's so many people who need to hear from her right now. So if y'all are not listening, you know some of them truckers and people who need dispatchers, all that, y'all better be on here taking her name and getting her information. Now I'm about to bring her up. Miss Coach V, are you there?
I am here. Listen, talk about an introduction, honey. That's the way you introduce somebody. I'm back here blushing and smiling and like, who,
me? Yes. Hey. Please let them know who you are.
Well, hey, listen, I am your girl, Coach V. I am all things trucking, right? I am the wife of a truck driver, or a truck owner, rather. We just purchased our second truck. Woo, woo, woo. And yes, so we are a family-owned business, TKK Logistics and Trucking. We are your dispatch company, the one that's going to keep your wheels turning and you earning. And we don't move for cheap rates. If it's not profitable, we ain't moving you. So that is who I am in a nutshell. I am your coach that will coach you through how to start your own dispatch company, how to do the do's and don'ts so that you can have a successful business. This is not a side hustle, but it is a legitimate business. So that is who I am. So thank you, D&D, for having me tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. Because like I didn't even know her. I just happened to be going on a group and I was seeing her post. I said, this girl got the knowledge that people need to hear. I hope she responds to me. I was like, let me send this message out because I know she need to be on this thing right here. But can you tell us what actually made you get started?
So what made me get started is I was a single mom and I was working in corporate America at the post office. And if you know anything about the post office, they do not care about your life. So I was MIA in a place that was more important, which was my kids' life. And so I knew I needed to make a change. And the opportunity presented itself for me to take a dispatching course because I was going to back then start a box trucking company with a associate. Well, that associate and I, we fell off. However, I made an investment in myself. And so because I made that investment in myself, and really, let me not say I made an investment in myself. I made an investment in my legacy. And so as that relates to that, I knew I needed to still show up regardless of who fell off and who didn't come along with what the vision was. And so with that being said, I jumped into saying, hey, you didn't pay this money, and hey, money don't come easily, so let's push forward. And so what I did was I came up with my name. And so here's the thing, because I know we're talking about business and what it looks like to start the business and how we should put it together. If you are a single mom or a stay-at-home mom, or you are someone that's trying to figure out what is something that I can do that becomes lucrative and that is legitimate and a low startup cost, dispatching is it. And so I came up with the name TKK, which is my kids' initials, Titus, Kaylee, and Keon. And so I came up with my name because I'm like, hey, listen, we don't want nothing ghetto. We want something that is going to be, catchy. So a lot of people, be like, TKK, what is that? Well, they didn't know that was the first initials of my kids' names, but we came up with it and I started it. Now, at first it was like, I don't know if this is for me, because although I took the training, I didn't have all the knowledge I needed. And so I heard you ask the wellness coach before me, what is one thing that you would tell people to do differently? Well, get the necessary training that you need to be successful in this industry. And that is why I created Dispatch Made Simple, because it is just that simple to dispatch if you have the proper training, the proper resources, and the know-how. A lot of times businesses fail because they don't know how to use simple words, which is I need help or I don't understand. And so I created that program and I drop those gems every morning while I'm on the bike, because you may know your girl as the girl that's always on the bike, right? But I did that because there are times where we do have questions, right? But as you said earlier, I'm not a gatekeeper. Well, we're afraid to running into those gatekeepers. We're afraid to run into those people that won't really give us everything that we need, but will just give us enough to get us out their face or out their door, but they're not giving us enough that we need to be able to be successful. Well, come on over here to Coach V, because baby, we're going to make sure that you are successful when you walk out of our training. And so that is how I got started. I was a single mama and I knew I needed to be present in my kids' life, because let's just be real, baby, life be life and I hear in these good old streets. Okay, God still be God, life still be life. And so I needed to show up for them in a way. And not only that, I needed to show them what it looks like to do entrepreneurship the right way. Right. And how to get the bag the right way, how to secure the bag the right way. And so being a single mom of boys at that, and I only have one daughter, these boys are hard-headed. They a whole different breed. So they think, we got to get out here and go get it the wrong way. Well, no, I wanted to show my kids what it looks like to get it the right way. And so as a result, they all are part of the business. They work and they're very good at what we do. And so, yeah, that's how, in a nutshell, I got started.
I so love it. I so love it. Now, what is one thing you wish you knew before you got started?
One thing I wish I knew was the industry. I was in logistics like years prior doing freight forwarding, but I didn't really understand all the different equipment types, what the requirement was as it relates to each equipment type. And I didn't understand, just even truck terminology and things like that. So I wish I would have taken time to do a real deep investment in myself instead of just trying to, as we say, fly by night and think that you're going to come up overnight. No, actually take the time to learn the industry so that you can know the do's and the don'ts.
That's all. Yeah, that's really true. Because a lot of times we do jump into things and we don't know the background on something. So that's really, plus I know how there's some people when it comes into trucking, or if it comes into construction and different things like that, even when it comes to not just knowing what you need for is making sure you have your DOT and your having all the stuff that you need for your trucking business, but also knowing when it comes to those insurances. And then also a big thing that I deal with a lot of my clients now is when it comes to workers' comp audit and general liability audits, knowing what insurances that you need to have and how much insurance you need to have for, even if you have those contractors, even if they're not your direct employees yourself. These is all things that people need to understand, because if you, and this is something I just want to plug out there for everybody, because I know I ain't going to talk about this in the next segment, but if you are a business owner and you do have contractors and you are in, say, trucking, construction and different things like that, you normally are going to get a workers' comp and a general liability audit. Make sure that all your workers have both. Now, I know in the state of Georgia, there is a form that you can fill out, but even when you fill that form out, they still are saying you are responsible as the owner. So make sure that you are knowing your state laws when it comes to those insurances, because if you're not covering your contractors, that could be a problem. And I deal with that a lot with these workers' comp and general liability audits. So please check on that too. But thank you so much for that. Now, also, I want to say, what advice would you give someone trying to get in your industry? Because there's so many people trying to get in your industry right now. So what would you tell somebody?
I would definitely say find your niche in it. Because there's different ways that you can get into it. You can get into it as an owner operator, like you said, you know, making sure you have your MC, your DOT, and all those things, the insurance and all of the good things. Or you can get into it as a dispatcher. You can get into it as a freight agent. You can get into it as a broker. There's different ways that you can get into the trucking industry. So the best thing that I would say is start from the bottom and learn everything. Then figure out what best works for you, because being a broker may not work for you. It just, you may not be that type of person. Being a dispatcher, you may not like to talk to people. So that may not be something that you want to do. As a dispatcher, communication is the biggest key. As a matter of fact, in the trucking industry, communication is a big key. So if you're a person that's shy, don't like to talk, this not for you. But I would definitely say research it. And when I say research it, y'all, let's be very clear. Very clear here when I say research it. I'm not talking about YouTube University. No, I'm actually talking about researching the industry. Go and talk to some drivers. Find out, as I say, go to the old heads. Pick their brain a little bit. Go to somebody that's in the industry and just ask questions. Pay for consultations if you have to find out what it is you need to know, so you can know which route to take or which route not to take. As a matter of fact, if you're looking to get in dispatching, I have a virtual class coming up April 25th. Hop in that class. Figure out what works for you instead of just jumping into something and then saying it's not for me. Well, it failed because you didn't have all the knowledge. We fail because of lack of knowledge. That's just what it is. And so if you get all the knowledge, and then once you get that knowledge, you said something on your preview video that I watched for this segment. You basically said, you know, you can say all these different things, but if you don't apply that knowledge that you get, it's nobody's fault but your own. So once you get in these spaces, like you have these moments where you're on with D&D and she's doing these different segments, take that knowledge that you get and apply it. Don't just be a hearer, do it. Actually apply it. And then you'll get those results that you're looking for. So that would be what I would honestly say. Just make sure that you're getting in a space where you can get the resources and the knowledge and the information to truly be successful. And don't just jump in something because somebody else is doing it, because you don't know the backstory behind what it is that they're doing it. Right now, a lot of these equipment types are so saturated because people are just jumping in it because, hey, I don't need a CDL to have a box truck. I don't need a CDL to do hot shot. But you don't know the rules and regulations. So you're messing it up for everybody else. You're taking cheap freight because you don't know what a good paying load is. You don't know. Get that information and stop messing it up for everybody else.
Right. Yo, you just hit it on the nose when you started talking about the cheap freight, because I do. Yes. So I know what it is when you're dealing with that, and he complained about that so much when he's like, with these people coming and taking a cheap freight. So now they want
to take cheap freight.
Cheap freight.
The rate of gas has gone up now.
Understand, but people coming in the gate are not understanding what it is when you're getting into trucking. They don't know the amounts that they should be getting when it comes to the loads. So if
they don't know the market analysis. They don't know what
they're under getting what they should be able to get, because if I'm going to run from here to say Florida or something, some people are undercutting themselves just because they really don't understand how much they should be getting.
And that hurts the trucking industry as a whole, because when you do that, what happens is, okay, let's say you take a load to Florida. Okay, that load is paying great going in, but do you know that it's hard getting out of Florida? So then you're going to take something out of desperation. And then that just makes the whole thing look bad, because what's going to happen when the next person go to book it and they come with what it should be? Oh, well, I ran this load last week for $300 less than what you asking. Well, call them back up, because I'm not running that.
Right.
So we need to learn what we're doing. It goes for any business, whether tax, logistics, trucking, whatever it is, hair, whatever. Get the knowledge and invest in yourself.
Right. And know your value, know your worth.
I'm about to bring us both down and keep you on the screen by yourself, because I just want you to tell everybody about what your training is coming up so they can get on it. I'm bringing us down. Hold on. I want you to
Okay, y'all, listen. I have a virtual training called Dispatch Made Simple coming. It's going to be virtual. So I mean, it don't matter what city, what state, what country you're in. All you got to do, I will be sure to make sure that the link will be connected to this video where you can register, reserve your seat. I'm only doing 15 seats, and I really have less than 15 because the seats are already taken. But what you can expect in there is the A to Z to trucking. And when I say A to Z to trucking, I don't just mean I'm going to teach you dispatching. No, I'm going to teach you business formation, because this is not a side hustle, but this is a legitimate business. So I need you to move as such. As soon as you hit the door and you hit the ground running, you're going to be professional, because what really matters in this is how you present yourself. It matters in this industry. And if you are moving like you're not confident and you don't know what you're doing, you will not be taken seriously. So what we do is we provide the training, the knowledge, and the resources so that you can do that. We help you with your branding. And I'm not just talking about a logo. No, I'm talking about your email presence. I'm talking about the way you show up, the way you speak, the knowledge that you know when you're speaking. Because if you don't know the terminology and you sitting up there talking to them brokers, baby, they're going to laugh at you. And we don't want them laughing you off the stage and you didn't been in Coach V's class, okay? So we're going to make sure that you show up and you know what you need and you have what you need so that you can be successful in this industry. That's all I got. Thank you so much for having me.
I had to let you get that. Like, sis is giving them gems, and I'm like, they need to hear these gems. I don't even want no distractions on the screen. Yes. I'm like, gems, so they need to get in her class like tomorrow.
Listen, sign up.
So thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on. I really do appreciate your time, and I just want to say thank you again for coming on.
No, thank you. Thank you. And beautiful job what you're doing. Actually getting that knowledge out there to business owners. A lot of people need that. So thank you, ladies, for what you guys are doing. Thank y'all. Have a great night. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
All right, y'all. So everybody's journey is different, y'all. But like we say, everybody's journey is different, but that structure is still the same. You have to have that structure. That part needs to be done right across the board. No matter what business that you're in, you have to make sure your business is structured. So now we are going to jump into the main course. And this is about getting your business structured. So if you have anybody who you know need to hear this information, I'm going to go from A to Z on telling you how to get your business together. So let y'all know, get your pens and paper because I'm going in. I'm about to go in. I'm about to go in. I'm going in, y'all. So I want y'all to know we're getting ready to get, this is you. You're about to get your business set up now. So this is the first step. This is going to be step one. Step one. This is your business name. Don't fall in love with one name. You have 3 options. Always make at least 3 options up. And the reason why I say that is because if that name is taken, I don't want you to be stuck. So you have to make sure you have 3 business names when you're getting started, at least 3. The first thing you want to do is check on your state site, which is whatever your state is, Secretary of State. You want to go in there and make sure that name is not used anywhere. Then the next step I want you to do is Google it. Google that name, because just because that name might not be in your state and it might not be taken in your state, you never know if it's in somebody else's state. And then the next step I want to say, take it a little bit further, is check it on social media. Because sometimes when you don't have a unique name, you might have to then throw numbers and all kind of additional stuff behind it because somebody else then got it. So you don't want to have to do that. You want to just have your name and it be something that you can put all across the board without it having to put whatever 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like that or anything else. You want to just have your name. So step 1, business name. Get at least 3 names. Write them down on a paper. Then go check the state, Google it, and then go to social media. Step 2, business address. If you do not have a brick and mortar business, make sure you get a virtual address. Virtual addresses can be anywhere from, I would say, $7. Sometimes you could go as low as $7 up to, sometimes it could go up to maybe $120, depending on a company. But you don't need no high price virtual address. You just want a business address that you can use for your business. This is so important, very important, because you need to stop registering your businesses with your home addresses. And the reason why is because with certain banks and certain companies, if you're trying to get grants or loans, if your business comes up showing a different address and like showing your home address, the one thing it could be is, let's just say you wanted to apply for a loan that was probably $100,000. You may not get approved for that $100,000 because you're working from home and they see you have a home location. So that $100,000 may turn to 10, all because you used your home address. So that could be one. The other thing is sometimes you'll get denied because it is your home address and it's not a business address. So they don't think that your business is that legit. That could be another reason. The other thing is when you're registering your business, you don't want people knowing where you live. So if you register your business with your home address, what can happen is people will actually go and Google your business name. And guess what? Your home address is going to be the address that shows up for your business if they go and Google you. So you want to make sure that when you're registering your business on the Secretary of State, that you're registering it with a business address so nobody can be a stalker and come into your house. Now, step 3 is going to be registering your business. That is when we're going to start talking about that LLC. Now, a lot of y'all, so many of y'all, Lord Jesus, so many of y'all, they're like, I want my LLC. And I'm like, that's good. You know, that's nice. That's fine. But I look at an LLC. Now, starting off your business, that is the best thing to do when you're starting off, because you always want to keep your business and personal separate. So starting off your business, you always want to go with the LLC. So those 2 things are separate. Some people start off with the sole proprietor. However, when you do that, you're still involving you personally. If somebody sues you, that's you personally. They can take your house, your car, your money, everything you got. So you want to have that LLC in place so your business and personal can be separated. Now, once you start making money, then you want to go to an S-Corp. So if you start making 40,000 more, that's when you want to say, let me go and become an S-Corp. Why? Because there goes the tax savings, right? Now, when you become an S-Corp, the other thing that happens is you now are having to do a payroll for yourself. However, when it comes to doing a payroll for yourself, it's a very good thing. And some people get nervous when it comes to setting up their business as an S-Corp because they're like, I don't want to do a payroll. I don't want to deal with that. But honestly, it's really a good thing because what happens when, especially right now, it's tax season. And what happens, what a lot of people do is they try to expense out everything so they don't owe a bunch of money to the IRS. And so they're, I got to write this off. I got to write that off. I want to write this off. And then you only can have but so many losses, 3 out of 5 years. And then the IRS can then say, hey, your business is a hobby because you just keep going into the negative. So you want to make sure that you are not just keep expensing. Not only that, but the other thing is you're paying into Social Security and Medicare. So Medicaid. So that is something that can help you in life, because let's just say it's time for you to get Social Security. You're at that age now. Hey, now you done paid into it because they go off of the last 10 years. So if you're still paying into it, because I've had someone who actually had a business and they was doing their business for over almost 20 years and was working for themselves and was not doing a payroll for themselves. So they had no money going into Social Security and Medicaid. This person now trying to get Social Security, and guess what? She had zero straight down for the 20 years. No money. So she barely was going to get anything. So guess what? She couldn't leave. She couldn't stop what she's doing. She had to now start a payroll, and then she's going to do at least another 10. She can't leave because she don't have enough money that's going to be able to survive to pay her bills. So when you become an S-Corp, even if you're not an S-Corp, you need to think about that when you're making at least $40,000 in your business, is doing a payroll for yourself, still paying into Social Security and Medicaid for your business. Also, you get those tax savings because you're not paying those 3 times the tax like you was when you're a sole proprietor. You are now eliminating that self-employment tax. So you're actually helping yourself tax-wise as well. Now, that was step 3, the LLC. Now we're going to go to step 4, y'all. Step 4 is get yourself a professional domain plus email. You do not want to be having business and still having a Gmail and a Yahoo email account. That is not a business. You do not want to have no Gmail and Yahoo. Do you know how many people I've seen that got turned down for grants and loans because of their email addresses? Make sure you have a professional one. You want to have your name at whatever your business name is, .com or .net. Or you can say support at yourbusinessname.com, .net. Help at yourbusinessname.com, .net. Something at your business name. You want to be professional. So make sure you get your professional email address and a professional domain. And while you're at it, make sure you also, while you're setting that up, 9 times out of 10, you'll also have that website that you can get off of that domain. So like if you see me and follow me, you see mine is ubellc.net. My email, denise.murray@ubellc.net. My website, ubellc.net. You know, everything is ubellc.net. So you want to make sure that your stuff is professional. Now, moving on to step 5. That is when you get your EIN from the IRS. Do not go to any of these random websites, get in your EIN number. They are trying to charge you money that you do not need to pay when it's free. Make sure that you are going to irs.gov and getting your EIN number. There is no fee to get your EIN number. Now we are on Step 5. So I'm going to go back just in case somebody came on late and check it off. Remember, step 1, make sure you have your business name and make sure you have at least 3 names that you save just in case one of the names is taken. You want to also make sure you're checking on Google. You want to check on social media, and you want to also make sure you're checking the Secretary of State about that name. Step 2, you want to make sure you're having a business address, whether it's virtual or physical. Make sure you have a address so your personal address is not being seen. Step 3, that's when you're registering your business with the state, getting your LLC, or even if you're a sole proprietor, whether you're going to be set up as an S corporation, a C corporation, a nonprofit, or even, a partnership. Either of those where you're setting up your business, that's step 3. Step 4, that's when you want to get your professional domain and you want to have your email, and then later on you will have your website off of that. Step 5 is when you're going to go ahead to the IRS website, and that's when you're going to get your EIN. Step 6 is getting your business phone number. That is when you need a separate phone number that's separate from your personal number. I had to start utilizing this more because sometimes people feel like you work around the clock. Sometimes people will call you at all times of the day and night when they have your number. They feel like you have no days off. They will call you on a Sunday. They will call you on a holiday. They don't care if somebody died. They are still going to call your phone and bug the heck out of you on your personal line. So get yourself a second line so you can have that. Not only just for that, but it also makes the professionalism. So if you can get an 800 number, that's even better if you can. But if you can't, you can also, if you don't want that, you can have another local number. And guess what? That don't have to be a whole separate phone, because I know some people like, I'm not trying to get a whole new phone because that's me. You can have an app put onto your phone and it will ring separately or show up separately on your phone of that number. So you don't have to go and get a whole new cell phone and pay a whole new phone, all that kind of stuff. No, it all can be on the same thing. That's step 6 with the business phone number. Now, step 7. This is the step that most people forget. Step 7 is the step that a lot of people, when they get in their businesses together, they forget this step. And that is going to the IRS and electing and basically setting up your business under the IRS. Because a lot of people don't submit these forms, which if you're an LLC, you're supposed to be filling out a form 8832 and sending that into the IRS. If you're going to be an S-Corp, you're supposed to be filling out a form 2553 and sending it to the IRS. And now this is where people have that problem, because if you're an S-Corp, and let's just say, like I was talking about the people making 40K or more, and you want to become an S-Corp, if you don't submit that form to the IRS and they accept it, you can be doing taxes, and guess what? Your taxes is going to be rejected. All because you did not submit that form. So they're like, we don't have you in the system as an elected, as an S corporation. So guess what? Your taxes just sitting there. They're not doing nothing, and they're not doing nothing to them. And the bad thing about it is sometimes they don't even let you know. Like, people be filing year after year. I had someone who actually filed a couple of years and didn't even know that their taxes was never filed, all because they never filled out their form. So make sure that y'all fill out their form 2553. Now, step 8. Step 8 is when you get your business bank account. The business bank account is so you can separate your business from personal. Now, when you go to the bank, these are the things you need. You need your articles for your organization, articles of certification. You need your EIN letter that you got from the IRS. You need your ID, like your driver's license. And then you need whatever deposit that is required to open up that bank, depending on whatever bank it is that you're opening up with. And then also what you can do is do research before you even open up your bank account, because there are some banks that will actually offer you money for opening up a business bank account. So guess what? Now you're getting some money coming in off of just opening up that bank account. You can get another $400, $500 added to your account just from you opening up their account. So make sure you know about that. Check that out before you do it. And this is step 9. Step 9 is building your business credit. This is when you want to go ahead and register with Duns and Bradstreet and also create a NAV account. This is how lenders start recognizing your business, not just you personally. You start building that business credit, setting up yourself in those systems so they know who you are as a business owner. Now, step 10 is about the payroll. And this is what I was talking to y'all about before with that S corporation. You need that payroll because if you're not paying, you're paying into Social Security and Medicaid, you're building a retirement, you're also reducing your tax burden. Because let me tell you, if you don't structure this right, you're either going to overpay taxes or you're going to avoid them and get yourself into trouble. And we don't want to have that happening over here. We try to let y'all know what's going to happen beforehand. So make sure that you're getting those things set up. That is super important because especially right now, and I see that happen a lot. I'll have people come and they're getting their taxes done. And what do people do when they get their taxes done? They say they want to write off everything under the sun. I had somebody trying to write off the dog, you know, the dog food, the dog this, all kinds of stuff. Like, I mean, it's because they're like, I'm trying to get all these expenses so I don't owe no money. But however, if you set yourself up properly, you don't have to actually go through as much of that when you get time for the end of the year. Plus, you also want to, again, pay into Social Security and Medicaid. And if y'all come on next week, I have a guy coming on next week who is going to be talking to y'all business owners about setting up. Guess what, y'all? He's going to be talking about their 401, where you can actually be able to retire, that you can do this, set this up with your business. But guess what? You know how some of y'all right now, y'all getting them 1099 Rs in the mail because y'all been taking money from your 401 and you're not of the 401 age yet to take your money. He's going to be showing us next week on how you can take that money out without having to pay them additional taxes.
Oh my!
Y'all better be on for that one, for that retirement. So y'all better come on and y'all better stop playing when it comes to that, because that is some real mess right there. Because I'm gonna be like this next week. But that is why I wanted to get on here and talk to y'all. So I'm gonna go through these steps one more time with y'all, just to make sure y'all have them all. Step 1 is making sure you have your business name. Make sure you get at least 3 names. So just in case if one of them has been taken, you have another. Make sure you check the state website. Make sure you check Google. Make sure you check social media when you check it as names. Step 2, get your business address. Make sure you get either virtual or physical. You don't want to put your home address when it comes to your business, because when you do that, people can go on there and see where you live when it comes to signing in and putting in your business. Step 3, you're going to go ahead, register your business with the state that you're in, whether it's an LLC, whether it's a partnership, whether it's a S-Corp, C-Corp, nonprofit. Make sure you go ahead and register your business with the state. Step 4, make sure you get a domain plus email, so you have a professional email address, your name at yourbusiness.com or at yourbusiness.net. Make sure you have that so you look credible. And then also, like I said, from that domain, it also gives you a website. With most all sites, you'll have a website with that domain. Mm-hmm. Step 5, get your EIN number. Make sure you get that through the IRS. Do not get it through nobody else, because they tend to try to charge you when it is free. Make sure you go to the IRS and get that EIN. Step 6, make sure you get a business phone number. It's good to get an 800 number because that's the best for professionalism, but you can get a local number. Remember, you do not need a separate phone. It can be an app put right on your phone that can let you know the difference. It can come up with a green screen, or you can ring separately, just so you know, instead of saying, hey, what's up? You can be like, hello, thank you for calling, be on your professionalism. And then you go to step 8, get that business bank account. That's where you're going to take your articles. You're going to take your EIN letter, your ID, and your deposit for whatever it is for that bank. Step 9, you're going to build that business credit. You're going to go ahead, register, get your DUNS number, and create your NAV account. Step 10 is when you're going to go ahead and get that powerful move, which is that payroll setup. Hold on, I think I skipped one step with y'all. Did I? Yes, I did. What I said, step 7. Step 7 is where you have to make sure you submit those forms. And that's the one I said a lot of people miss out on. And that's where if you are LLC, you have to submit the form 8832. And if you're an S-Corp, you have to submit the form 2553. So that was step 7. And then step 8 with the business bank account. Step 9 with your credit. And then step 10 is getting it all done with payroll. Now that I went through all of that, I hope this was helping everybody. And if it is, drop structure in the comments, because this right here, this is how you get your business right. These steps here is going to have you structured properly. What I just went through today. So listen, starting a business is easy, but structuring it correctly, that's what separates real entrepreneurs from people just playing business. I don't want y'all out here guessing. I want y'all set up legit, fundable, tax ready, and built to grow. So if you need help getting your business structured the right way, you can always book a consultation with me. Tap in. You can get some of my resources. I even have an ebook out there that you can get that can help you with these same steps, walking you through everything. I can help you do it. But like I said, get it right, because we are in the second quarter, the beginning of the second quarter. I want y'all to go through the rest of this year knowing that y'all got this done. So this right here can be something that you did, even if everything else don't go, because I know sometimes people get discouraged sometimes when things are not going right. But I want you to know that just by, let's just say this is all you did this year and you made this happen. That's a win. That's a win. You just created your steps. You started it. So let's just go ahead and get that going. And y'all, I just want to say thank you for tuning in to Talk It Out with D&D. And remember, structure it, fund it, grow it, and see y'all next week for the big one. And talk to y'all soon. Have a good night, everybody.
See y'all next week. Yes.